Happy Tuesday, Pearls. How you doing?
Young blood made of gold, a mind you can't control. Running wild, can't come down. My head is in the clouds. Gotta keep this feeling, keep on breathing, even if we're slipping away. So I close my eyes and lose myself now. Do it like it's only today. We got a party for a lifetime. No, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. No, we don't care about the bad nights. For a second I can feel like this. Make me feel like this. We got a party for a lifetime. No, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. No, we don't care about the bad nights. For a second I can feel like this. Make me feel like this. I'm on my last straw. I'm broken and I'm woken up. I'm done feeding your lies. I've had enough. I can't run your place in this faulty game. And all the words you speak mean nothing more to me. 'Cause I'd start over now. Rewind, and I won't let you go. I need you by my side. Big brain, come along with me. Together with the truth you see.
Thank you, Joe.
Pearls and I laughed too.
We don't need clickbait here.
Facts is always new. In this place we keep it real. Classy vibes and joyful zeal. Join the journey, it's just begun.
Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. Very kind of you, angelic.
Hit the light and share the vibe. Crush those pearls, let's take the ride. Hell in here and spread the cheer. Members make the truth so clear. Standing truth is what we do. So hit subscribe and join the crew. With every search we pave the way. Together we will save the day. With every laugh
Prayer Connie.
Every life we lift our hearts. In the search, we all take part.
Man, can you send me more info on that?
Standing strong. Together we belong. Hit the light and share the light. Crush the world, let's take the ride. Come in here and spread the cheer. Members make the truth so clear.
The pearls were bound together through the storm and darkest weather. We search high, we search low, together everywhere we go. Justin's here and he's going live with the best fans by my side. We're a family, we hold strong, together we can right the wrong. We clutch them pearls, we shine like stars, searching wide, spreading love afar. Every stream, every heartfelt plea, we are one in this community. Daily grind, but we're not stopping. Pearls around the world just popping. With each view and every share, we send hope and show we care. We clutch them pearls, we shine like stars, searching wide, spreading love afar. Every stream, every heartfelt plea, we are one in this community. Daily grind, but we're not stopping. Pearls around the world just popping. With each view and every share, we send hope and show we care. We clutch them pearls, we shine like stars, searching wide, spreading love afar. Every stream, every heartfelt plea, we are one in this community. In the night or in the day, girls will light and lead the way. Justin's heart and your support, together we will hold the fort.
Okay.
Lilly grind, but we're not stopping. Pearls around the world just popping. With each view and every share, we send hope and show we care.
Click play and come along with me.
I'm good, Golden. Thank you, honey.
Together with the truth you see. Got our pearls and our laughter too. The search for facts is always new. In this place we keep it real. Classy vibes and joyful zeal. Join the journey, it's just begun. We shine brighter than the sun. Hit the like and share the vibe. Clutch those pearls, let's take the ride. Comments here and spread the cheer. Members make the truth so clear. Defending truth is what we do. So hit subscribe and join the crew. With every search we pave the way. Together we will save the day. Defending truth is what we do. So hit subscribe and join the crew. With every search we pave the way. Together we will save the day. With every laugh we lift our hearts. In the search we all take part. Thank you all for standing strong. Together we belong. Hit the like
Well, hello, 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 my beautiful pearls. Thank you so much for joining me. Really do appreciate your time. You could have chosen to be anywhere on YouTube. You have a lot of options, anywhere on the internet, anywhere in the world, and you chose to be right here. I know your time is very valuable, and I do appreciate you spending some time with me. Today is May 13th, 2025. It is currently 6:35 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States. Hello, my beauties. Good to see you all. Much love to all of you in here. We are talking about the Lilly and Jack Sullivan case. The RCMP has been very quiet the last few days, and they finally gave us a little update today, and we have a lot to talk about in this live. I've got some information about where stepdad is working and all kinds of stuff we're going to go through today. So if you guys would do 1 second, I apologize. Okay, so sorry about that. Is my mic working? Is my mic working? Check, check. Yep, should be working. All right, guys. So sorry about that. I do apologize. Hello, War. Good to see you, my friend. Yes, please click that thumbs up button. Would greatly, greatly appreciate it, as it is a free way to get this message out into the ether. You will share this on your social media. Click the link, copy, paste it into your choice of social media. That would be very helpful too. And of course, you can always help us meet the goal or become a member of the Pearl family. That is a great way to help out your fellow creators as well. I'm back. Had to take an important call. Hello, everyone. Well, hello, hello, hello. Thank you, Tina, for sharing that on your social media. Let's go ahead and get into it. There is a lot here. Thank you so much, Melanie. Really do appreciate you, my dear. Good evening, Justin. I hope everyone is doing well. Thank you, my friend. All the blessings to you, Melanie. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you are well. All right, here we go. Let's get it started, shall we? All right. So the Pictou County District RCMP, and with the assistance of the Northeast Nova RCMP Major Crime Unit. Now, I don't know how it works in Canada, but I would imagine Major Crime Unit is pretty self-explanatory. But I'm sure they can assist in other areas as well, in with helping out, assisting, if you will. But the Major Crime Unit has been on this for the last several days. We do know that. They are helping to continue, or crime unit continue to investigate the disappearance of Lilly and Jack Sullivan. Quote, "We're exploring all avenues in the missing persons investigation," end quote, says Staff Sergeant Curtis McKinnon, Pictou County District RCMP. That is how they start this out. The first quote, "We're exploring all avenues in this missing person investigation," end quote. So that means everything is up in the air still, right? Everything is still up in the air. Hopefully, we'll have some answers soon. Um, correct, correct. Um, all right. So, and they say, quote, "We have officers from multiple uh, disciplines dictated to find Lily and Jack, including highly trained RCMP, major crime, and forensic investigations. To me, in my opinion, this is telling me these kids just did not walk out, in my opinion. What happened to them, I have no idea. But the way they are starting, they're not saying that, they're not naming names, right? They're not naming names, but they are saying everything's up in the air, but we've got all facets of law enforcement and forensics on board, right? So there we go. Quote, we have officers from multiple disciplines dedicated rather to find Lily and Jack, including highly trained RCMP, major crime, and forensic investigators. To date, more than 180 tips, 180 tips have been received from the public and are being followed up. Officers have so far identified 35 people for formal interviews as part of the investigation, including community members and their closest to the children. And on May 8th and 9th, the RCMP Underwater Recovery Team, also known as URT, scoured bodies of water around Lansdowne Station. URT's 2-day operation didn't uncover any evidence. Okay? So they've done 35 interviews, right? Who are they going to interview? They say neighbors, people closest to the children. That would be obviously mom, stepdad, grandma on the property, brother on the property. They're going to ask the neighbors if they saw anything, uh, any family members, anything, right? 35 people, that's a lot of people. So, are they getting anywhere? I don't know. I don't know. I do think this is going to be a hard one to tackle, in my opinion. And the reason I think that is because there is nothing in that area. Nothing, right? They don't have good cell phone service. There's not a lot of cameras. There's not a lot of anything other than trees. Neighbors are very far out. Daniel's brother, absolutely. They may possibly even interview, you know, uh, mom and stepdad's uh, sister, or not sister, exes from the past, right? How did they behave when you were with them? Did they show any violence toward, whatever? We'll just have to see. But I will say, if they come up with answers finding Lily and Jack Sullivan, I mean, hats off to the RCMP. It seems like they are really, doing their due diligence and doing everything they can. So there's that. The next thing is, let's see here. So May 8th and 9th, 10, 11, 12, 4 days ago, 4 and 5 days ago, that is when they did the underwater recovery for 2 days, and they came up with nothing. Quote, we continue to work day and night on this file, says Sergeant McKinnon. Quote, like all Nova Scotians, we want answers, and we want to know what happened to these children, end quote. On May 2nd, at approximately 10 a.m., Pictou County, guys, 1 second, I apologize. Guys, can you give me just 1 second? I'm so, so sorry. I do apologize for that. So, where were we? They've they did the underwater recovery for 2 days, still absolutely nothing. On May 2nd at approximately 10 a.m., Pictou County District RCMP received a report that Lily and Jack were missing. They were believed, you got to really look at the verbiage here. They were believed, right? Believed, meaning believed the parents or the step parents. Very common verbiage in how they say these in a lot of these suspicious missing children's cases. So, where were we? They were believed to have wandered away from their home. Uh, a multi-agency search and missing persons investigation began immediately. Now, last night we were looking and we noticed in that audio that it said 8 a.m. And actually, it says 8 a.m. twice in that audio in the dispatch. Twice, right? Oh, thank you so much, sped teacher. Really do appreciate you, my friend. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Becky, shout out to you and your friends and our viewers that support this channel. Thank you. You are so loved. Aw, thank you, Sped. I really do appreciate you, my dear. You are just a gem. You really are. All right. So it began immediately. The search, which was scaled back to specific areas on May 7th, has covered 5.5 square kilometers of heavy wooded rural terrain in the area. It is involved up to 160 volunteer searchers and many others, and tens of thousands of search hours. Efforts to locate Lily and Jack also included 2 vulnerable missing persons alerts. They did do 2 vulnerable person missings alerts. They got a lot of criticism because they didn't do an Amber Alert. And again, I don't know how Amber Alerts work in Canada, but in the United States, it varies by state is how it varies. And in most cases, you have to have some sort of evidence, if you will, that a child or children have been taken by someone that's not supposed to have them. That can be a parent that's not supposed to have them or a stranger that's not supposed to have them. Generally, it's a familiar person, but Amber Alerts can go for either. So it's probably very similar how it goes about in Canada. But again, there's been nothing to suggest that Jack and Lily were taken by anyone, you know, like to get out of the area, so to speak. They're obviously not at their home, but did they really go missing Friday morning, or did they go missing hours or days before they were reported missing? Vulnerable person reports goes to every local cell phone. That's good, Maggie. Thank you, Uber. It's very kind of you. So it's very similar to an Amber Alert. A lot of the reason, many times in the states, if you do Amber Alerts, it opens up a lot more resources, more money, more eyes, because these searches cost a lot of money. It's just the fact of life. They cost a lot of money, and it costs a lot of resources, and it's all worth it. Obviously, we got to find the children. Um, but it seems like there's been everything. There's been no shortcuts, and I really appreciate the RCMP for the way that they say it starts out suspicious, which is something they really need to do in the United States. We have been speaking about that for a long time. In the United States, yeah, we just believe you. We just say, oh, okay, great. We'll just listen to you. I mean, listen to the parents, but also do a parallel investigation. The right one will go on the right road eventually, right? And it really messes up a lot of cases here, in my opinion. Oh, thank you so much, my love. Keep up the good work, Justin. Love you. And good to see you, my love. Thank you. Michelle, thank you so much, my love. Really do appreciate you. Good to see you. Maggie says the party was at 2 p.m. Wednesday or Thursday, according to the neighbor who lives 500 feet away. Has that neighbor came out and said that was them that stated that? Because I just noticed that it just said anonymous on Facebook, that they were driving past the house, and the way I took it, the way the person under anonymous wrote it, because he or she said, I drove past, and to be honest with you, I was judging them, thinking that there was, math heads there, if you will. That's his words. And to me, that doesn't sound like a neighbor. You know what I mean? It just sounds like someone maybe that lives in the area or was in the area. Uh, what, Justin? I bet that so-called mother never took them to the bus, never got with them. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't. Yeah, I'm believing within 2 minutes, a little girl disappears off a hill. Yep, exactly, Peach. Exactly. Sounds more like a business meeting. I mean, I don't know. There could have been a meeting, but I just have not had any solid proof other than that anonymous post, right? And it's not saying that I don't believe the person. I just have it there right now. That's all. I spoke with the investigator today. They know what happened. That's all I'm saying. You think so, Uber? I think they have a pretty good idea too. I think they have a pretty good idea. I think many times they have a pretty good idea fairly quickly, but sometimes they just don't have enough. Enough, you know what I mean? I'm not believing the neighbors if they've never saw a bus to know kids were there. And Ace, that's another thing, right? According to one of the neighbors, there's a neighbor that lives. I think I checked. One was nearly 2/10 of a mile, and the other one was like 3/10 of a mile from them. And allegedly, one of the neighbors said they didn't even know kids lived there. Right. So there's that. Yes, you'd think they would in Summerwell's case too. Yeah, you would think so as well. Send me a text. Okay, my dear. Thank you so much. All right. So it's scaled back and all that. Efforts to locate Jack and Lilly. Okay, we did read that. Anyone with information about the whereabouts of Lilly and Jack is asked to call the Pictou County RCMP 902-485-4333. You can also remain anonymous. You can call Crime Stoppers 1-800-222-TIPS, 1-800-222-8477. You can also submit a secure web tip, remain anonymous, www.crimestoppers.ns.ca. Our thoughts continue to be with the children's loved ones and the community at this difficult time. Note to the media, as this is an active, ongoing investigation, information will be released as it becomes available. So, what are your thoughts? What is y'all's thoughts on this? My thoughts is that it sounds like it's becoming, we're leaning more toward foul play, more toward that, in my opinion. Have they checked all the cars and trunks? I don't know about that. I stubbed my toe. That's a very good question. I was mentioning that question last night, thinking, did they pull any cars? Right? Did they pull four-wheelers? I mean, I'm sure that they would have, by now would have certainly at least looked inside of them and, had the dogs go over them and all of that. You would certainly think so. And it sounds like, they're doing everything they certainly can at this point. I think it's starting to lean towards one or both parents involved. A lot of people, and, the last few streams that I've did, most, a little bit more, I would say, are leaning more toward mom. I don't know. I think they both equally know what happened. I don't think you can live in a 500 square foot trailer and not know that there is, if something happened in that trailer, again, we have no idea what happened to Lilly and Jack, but if something happened in that trailer, there's just no way you're not going to know. You know, you don't just, let's say, for instance, speculation here. So, speculation is not a fact, theory. Let's say that there was an overdose. Unfortunately, they got into something. Okay. So mom goes in the room one morning. Obviously, she's going to be freaking out. Those are her kids, right? Those are her kids. She's going to freak out. They're going to know. The other person's going to know. You're going to scream at the top of your lungs. You're going to yell for somebody, or somebody's going to come running into the room. So, no one around the mom either. She's not from here. Correct. She is not from there. There is rumors now that she is somewhere. I can't remember where they stated that it was, but they're saying that she was somewhere. There's only a few options in this case. One is Jack and Lily either are wandered off and lost, and they just haven't found them with all the searching, all the technology, all of that. Stranger abduction, which RCMP said there's nothing to suggest that. Family abduction. I mean, is that possible? I guess it is, but it seems like the bio dad didn't want anything to do with the kids or foul play of some sort. But you got to look at stepdad. He was like adamant. Give me the lie detector test. Give me the lie detector test. They're bringing it in. I'm ready to do this lie detector test. Is that confidence? Is that real confidence? Or is that playing it up for the camera and law enforcement? All these parents just need to own what happened under their care. It is on them. Yep. Yep. The thing is, like, I don't see, I mean, unless like one of them was mad at each other, like they were having a couple's fight, and occasionally you will see a parent or a step parent do, unalive one or, the kids, God forbid, to get back at the other one. But usually they'll do it to, their spouse too. So I think this is an accident, in my opinion, at this time. I think this is an accident cover up, right? Because you got to realize if there is an accident cover up, you've got most likely drugs in the home. Obviously, drugs are illegal, and it's illegal for you to have drugs in your possession. You can't have it around kids. And if that happened and they became unalived, there's no way to have an excuse for that, right? You go in, you what you call 911 and you say two kids, my kids are here and I found them like this. Well, I mean, acts of God happen, like, people die in their sleep or whatever, but not two. Not two. And obviously they do toxicologies and all that. Now, if it was like, you know, they had gas and carbon dioxide was going off or whatever, that's one thing. But the other would be sick in the house as well, right? So it really just absolutely doesn't make sense. Absolutely does not make sense. All right, there's some stuff that has came out today, more things, and we're gonna talk about that as soon as I pull it up here. Let me show you a picture of Daniel, by the way. Guys, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. He right here is being photographed for the Globe. Mr. Martell's stepchildren 4 and 6 went missing. This was him a few days ago. Right. Found some more other Facebook accounts from Daniel and mom, Malaya. And I'll show you those as well. I'm I always say, like, people who have like 27, I'm kind of judgmental in this for some reason. I don't know. I've always told my people this here. They know what I'm going to say probably. people who like have 27 different Facebook accounts, I side eye. I just side eye you because I'm like, you can't even keep your password right. Right? You can't even keep your password right at this time. So it just doesn't give a good look. There's password recovery and all that. We just remember your password, take a screenshot, do something. It's just not a good look. I don't know. It just bothers me. It's a little tiff of mine, I guess. Okay, here we go. Whoops. Well, what happened to your speech, sir? Hold on. Let me refresh this. Okay. Well, I guess it's the speech is not gonna work on that one. All right, we got more. No worries, we got more. A whole lot more actually that we've got to go. Oh, let me show you real quick where Daniel allegedly works at, by the way. Um Someone wrote here, I live very close to group. How do you pronounce this? Yeah, that's how you pronounce it. One second. Groups Group Savor. Where Why does it keep on that? Okay. Where Daniel works, beyond the wood piles and off to the left is a pond fairly large. I wonder if it has been searched. Let me just show you this. So this is kind of the area where he works allegedly 1 day a week, and he works at this sawmill, right? Anyone on methadone should not have kids. CPS needs to start. I mean, I don't want to. I don't know. I just don't. Taking a screenshot of my password. I am showing my age. Text. Okay, I'll check my text here in just 1 second. Y'all, I'm getting a lot of stuff in. Yep. Here we go. Thank you, Whistle. Do you know about this site? Let me check. Case files for me. Yes. Yep. I've got that one, Whistle. Thank you so much. I'm going to show that one on this live. So thank you for that. Yep. Okay. Did y'all see as well? Stepmom has made she updated her profile to single, and we've already kind of spoken about that, but it also says now that she doesn't have Messenger. She only has Facebook. Just Facebook, which I find that kind of interesting. Let me show you. Look at this. Thoughts on this? Just notice this. That's right. They highlighted it. Using Messenger without Facebook. Right? She did get a couple more friends on her Facebook since she has, I guess, activated it again. No, not did I say stepmom? If I said stepmom, I apologize. So she's got without Facebook. You're fine, Kimberly. No, I hate Messenger. Only use it with my kids. So she's activating it on and off. Then priorities, huh? To me, it's baffling. I know a lot of people was very judgmental about her leaving the home. I wasn't as judgmental with her leaving the home in this aspect, because if they split up, if she was abused, this could be her only time to get away. If it was CPS, she had to get away. If they were fighting and fighting with the family. So I wasn't as really this time with this case. But the whole, I'm single, that's insane. Kelly says, I find mom more and more suspicious than the boyfriend. If it was my child, I am not leaving until my child is found. I hear you, Kelly. I hear you. And timeline is way off, Angel. So, and like I said, like I've always been more suspicious of Daniel personally. But now that we know that 8 o'clock, and Daniel said he went up into the water, up to his chest or whatever, and he was looking around and all of this before they called 911. To me, because they didn't call 911 till almost 10 o'clock, that tells me that Daniel, in that scenario, in my opinion, is being more truthful, right? 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. He was out allegedly looking for them. Mom says they both jumped up out of bed, which I don't see them doing. Nobody jumps up out of their bed when they, both parents, whenever they don't hear that, your kid, you say, go check, get up or something, or let me get up or whatever. You both don't just jump up like something's wrong whenever you told them to be quiet. And whenever it allegedly got quiet, that's when you guys jump up. That doesn't make sense. But she said after they looked around in the house and looked outside, she immediately called and said it was instinctual. That's a little off, if you ask me. Spicy Disaster says, when I had small children at home, I never dated. I sure didn't date people. I didn't trust anyone with my kids. I understand, Spicy. God bless you for that. I mean, she just broke up out of a long-term relationship, moved, and 2 of her children went missing, and her other child taken away in 1 week, and she updates her Facebook to single. Think about that. One of those things is life-altering. One of those things. Well, and also gets in a fight with her in-laws, now ex-in-laws, right? Your kids go missing. Two out of 3 of your kids go missing. You get in a fight with your in-laws. You break up with your boyfriend. You move. You're questioned and all of that. And you update your profile. That's insanity, man. It's just insanity. No matter how you cut it. Oh, thank you. Is it Rubsy? Thank you so much. You're so pretty. Keep up the good. Oh, thank you, my friend. Really do appreciate your support. Thank you, Rubsy. Thank you. Very kind of you. All right. Here we go. Let me show you this. Let me take this one off, and we'll show this.
He was placed outside the RCMP headquarters.
This was today, I think.
Yes. In Stellarton on Thursday. An anonymous user on Facebook said they're starting a vigil for Lilly and Jack Sullivan, who were first reported missing nearly 1 week ago. The siblings, aged 4 and 6, were reported missing from their home at 10 a.m. last Friday. Police say it's believed they wandered away from their home on Gerlach Road in the Pictou County community of Lansdowne Station. Global News spoke with some people in the community of Stellarton on Thursday who declined to go on camera due to the sensitivity of the subject, but said they are praying for the children's safe return. We reached out to the RCMP for an update on Thursday, but they also declined to comment. This comes on the heels of police announcing Wednesday that they were scaling back the multi-agency search for the two children. The operation included more than 150 grounded search rescue volunteers who were actively searching through a 4-kilometer area since the children were first reported missing. The search also involved DNR and RCMP helicopters, drones, and police dog services. Police say they're now retracing steps and searching in smaller, more specific areas as the investigation continues. RCMP said on Wednesday that cadaver dogs could be brought in as a next step in the operation, along with saying detectives have been involved in the case since last Saturday. The children's stepfather told Global News he believes the children left through a sliding back door, which he describes as virtually silent. He said he then began looking for Lilly and Jack outside, but couldn't find them. As the investigation persists, rumors continue.
I don't think there's anything silent on that trailer. I just don't see anything being silent on that trailer.
Circulating online about what happened to them. Major Daniel Rood with the Salvation Army says the speculation is creating added stress for the surrounding communities as people grow more desperate for answers. Mitchell Bailey, Global News, Stellarton, Nova Scotia. This teddy bear behind me was placed outside the RCMP headquarters in Stellarton on Thursday. An anonymous user on Facebook said they're starting a vigil.
Okay. So there is that. Now, oh my goodness, Angel, thank you so much, my friend. That is so generous of you. Thank you so much, Angel. That is so generous of you, my dear. Very, very kind of you. If you received one of those pearl necklaces, make sure you thank our dear Angel of Light. It's very kind of you. Thank you so much for your support, dear Angel. Really do appreciate you, my friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Those doors are heavy to pull. They can be. They can be. They certainly can be. I want to show y'all something kind of it's unrelated, but it's a missing child. There is a missing child. Someone sent this to me earlier. Oh, this is from May 7th. Were they ever found? Let me see here. Newest. Huh. I don't see, it doesn't show that they've been found. Missing and endangered 7-year-old girl. Someone just sent this to me. I'll look up on this. This is in Tennessee. From what I think it's Tennessee, I'm pretty sure. News Channel 9. I'm pretty sure it's Tennessee, they said. Do they have a motive? Do you mean in Lilly and Jack's case, Fly Girl? Yeah, see, there doesn't have to be a motive if it's accidental, right? There's no motive. They didn't plan this. It's usually careless, reckless. The only reason why a family member, a parent, doesn't call 911 and hides it is because it is a negligent accident, right? I've spoke about this in so many other cases. For instance, and this one we're talking about, we don't know if this happened, but if there was drugs in the home and 2 kids got a hold of them and they overdosed. Okay, thank you, Uber. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Or let's say, for instance, we were talking about in another case where if a stepdad could have potentially smacked their stepchild and they meant to smack them, but they didn't mean to perhaps break something, right? So that can be a negligent accident, and then they freak out because they're going to wonder, well, how did that happen, right? So it's usually something very similar like that. All right, this is from today. Here we go. DNR is Department of Natural Resources. Yes. Hold on, I saw that in just a second. Credit goes to CBC Nova Scotia. I did not see. Justin, do they have a motive? Thank you. Uh yeah, that's what I was just kind of saying. There's no known motive. I mean, they're not even we got to be clear in this that the stepfather and the mother have not been named suspects or persons of interest at this point. However, that's publicly, right? They haven't publicly been named a person of interest or a suspect. Now, privately, they could be, the RCMP could be digging in, right? But publicly, they have not said that they are a suspect. However, we are the court of public opinion, right? We just give our opinions on what we think uh, makes sense to us individuals here, and we hash it out. So, motive. I mean, I don't see a motive where they would, hurt their children. But, there's been rumors that CPS has been there before, but again, that is just rumor at this point because we really have no idea. Jack looks similar to Daniel, I think. Also, his bio dad. Who knows? My sliding door is silent, but the door lock is noisy and hard at times. Is it that little flip thing? And you know how the little slide doors have like the flip? Most of them do. So does the mom still have the youngest child? Mickey, allegedly, the child is in CPS custody. Remember, Daniel someone drove him there to the office the other day. He asked if he could see Meadow. They said no. And that is generally how meetings take place. If a child is taken away, it's generally done under supervision. If you see them at their office. So it doesn't sound like either parent has, you know, Meadow in their custody at this point. And again, in the United States, and I'm sure probably Canada is very similar. Whenever a child goes missing in the home, law enforcement is required to contact CPS. Now, CPS sometimes will remove the children, sometimes won't. I've seen it happen in both types of circumstances. I've seen them to where they've removed every one of the children, like in Summer Wells' case. I've seen them not remove any child, like in Michael Vaughn's case. And every time that they've ever removed a child that I can think of, at least public opinion has been the parents seem very suspect. That's just the general consensus throughout my, true crime here on YouTube of going over cases. Now, is that so? It's just whatever CPS, because let's be real here. I mean, they go to that house and this is the thing I was thinking though. Think about this, right? If the parents, the mom and the stepdad, if they removed Lilly and Jack, right? And then they called 911. Don't you think they would have the drugs put up, though? Wouldn't they? Has nobody thought about that? Like, I always try to get in the minds of these people. How would I react in this situation? How would I react? What is a person going to react in this situation? Right? Let's say they go, you know, do something with this is all speculative. Don't take this as a fact, what I'm saying. So I just want to put that out there. But let's say they do something with Jack and Lily, right? They do whatever they do, and they come back home or wherever they go and call 911, and they, of course, law enforcement's coming in the home, right? You would think they would put up the drugs, right? But allegedly they found some in the home. I don't know. I really don't know. It's interesting. It's very interesting. Thank you, True Crime with Sweet Melissa. Welcome to the Pearl family. Good to see you, my dear. How you doing? Thank you, Sweet Melissa. Really do appreciate you, my friend. So good to see you. Hope you are well. Thank you so much for joining the Pearl family. I don't think we will hear much more till next week. All those interviews may take time. Yes, so far they've allegedly done like 34 interviews. This is today, by the way, guys. Here we go.
This week for 2 missing children in Pictou County. You can see it's a major undertaking. But some involved in these searches are calling for changes to make it possible for them to keep doing their work more effectively. Kevin McLean is the president of the Colchester Ground Search and Rescue Association. Mr. McLean, why do you have funding concerns when it comes to search and rescue?
I'd say because we're not really well funded, at least not across the province. I happen to be on a team that is recognized by the municipality in which we reside. That's the Colchester area, where the municipality of Colchester County and the town of Stewiacke recognize the services we provide as essential. So our team is one of the better funded teams within the province, but that's not the case.
Look at this, guys. Look how wet it is there, right? Look at all the mud puddles and all that. It's spring there, right? It's going to be wet, April showers brings May flowers, right? Like it's the time of year where it's really wet. Everything's really, starting to get green and all that.
The services we provide as essential. So
coats on.
Our team is one of the better funded teams within the province, but that's not the case with most of the other teams. There are a total of 23 teams in the province, and funding is generally lacking throughout the province for the GSAR teams.
And so, from best you know, how underfunded do you feel they are?
Well, the provincial government provides each team $3,000 a year, which is the same value that they've been paying each team for about 20 years now. Well, we haven't seen an increase in the payment from the provincial level, and at the municipal level, it ends up being a function of what they can squeeze out of their own operating budgets. So it varies across the province with many of their teams.
Okay, and have you asked for an increase?
Of course. We ask for an increase every year, and as far as I know, every team asks for an increase every year, both at the provincial level and at the municipal level. But oftentimes, it's not forthcoming.
Okay, so how does a search?
Let's see. Yeah, so it's the rainy season there. What is the average temperature there right now? An average daily temperature, 50 degrees Fahrenheit. What, $3,000 a year for searching? I know, pal. Hasn't it been close to freezing a few nights? Oh, I'm sure at night there it absolutely is. 60 to 70. Someone's saying 54, 38. It's a big difference. Check bank account, see if mom got money. Yeah. What? Legally blonde. Well, connect dots. It's scary.
Like the one we witnessed last week, which was rather large scale. How does it get funded?
So the operating expenses of a search are covered by both the EMO and the RCMP. So the EMO, which is the provincial government layer that funds the search and rescue efforts, they cover our travel expenses to the search. And then all our operating expenses at the search are covered by the RCMP.
Okay, and so who pays for the gear? Is there gear that you still need?
Well,
I don't think this was the thing I was looking for. It has been in the mid 30s every night. I put on. That's really cold. 30 Fahrenheit. That would be, yeah, it would have to be Fahrenheit because 30 Fahrenheit is hot. Okay, moving along here. Moving along. Let me show you a new. Here is another profile of Daniel. Oh, nope, wrong one. Let me show the one of Malaya here. Right here. This is from 2013. 2013. She's got, I guess, a lot of profiles. I dang near needed air conditioner this morning, Nicole said. Hey, Green Eyes, good to see you, my friend. I mean, she's a pretty girl. She's a very pretty girl. I think I'm moving south. I just can't do cold winters anymore. I'm moving with you. I don't like cold weather. Right? This is 2007. Happy New Year, 1/12/2007. She's got if the green left the grass on the other side, I would make like a tree and leave. If I reached for your hand, would your eyes get wide, whom the other side could be so green? That's what it says. This is her giving the middle finger. Now, she's pretty young here and all that. They think they're being cool. But on a lot of her profile things, it seems like she doesn't give much of a, if you know what I mean. Well, these photos are much older, of course. She would look to, yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah. Absolutely. These are from like, did I skip one? No. So I watched the night turn light blue, but it is not the same without you, because it takes two to whisper quietly. The silence isn't so bad till I look at my hand and feel sad, because the spaces between my fingers are right where yours fit perfectly. Oops, crap. It seems like was very much maybe guy crazy. The locals are saying the locals said there was a party night before, just saying something was a party night before. Like the night before last, Carrie? Or the night before the kids went missing? She probably did, Victoria. I showed something yesterday where she was speaking about her mom kicking a horse. And she said she was not a very good person. So a lot of times and here she is with the horse, right? Locals say anything they want, don't mean it's true. Absolutely. The night before the kids went missing. Yeah, someone said that on Facebook, but I can't say that's true because there's only been one source to it. Pikachu, Pikachu, I think it's Pikachu. She apparently loves horses. Shitty childhood is not an excuse. I had a horrendous childhood. It's not an excuse, Andrea. You're absolutely right. It's not an excuse. However, most people become a product of their environment, and that's sadly the truth. It is no excuse, but many times when that is all that is around you, that is what you become. The young women have children to fulfill. Yeah. I wonder if Daniel's ex will say how Daniel is with his kids with her. No excuse, just explanation. Yeah. It doesn't affect many people negatively. Yes, not an excuse, but it is a reason. Yeah. Yes, Horsey Joe. She seems. You remember those haircuts? Oh my God. I don't know. I mean, I think that was it one of her family members she was alleging like abused her or something before? I don't know. Last time she posted, at least publicly, was March 7th, 2013. How do you pronounce that? Truro, Nova Scotia? She kind of, I remember this guy on, what was it, like America's Got Talent or something like that? He like sang opera, but he was like a goth guy. Like he was like really dark. So there's that. I wish this thing would play louder. One second. I'm trying to. The volume just won't work on it, so I can't play it. All right, this is 5 hours ago. 5 hours ago, this article came out. Nova Scotia RCMP say that they are continuing to investigate the disappearance of 2 children from their home in Pictou County, including interviewing them closest to them. Lilly Sullivan, 6, and brother Jack, 4, have been missing since May 2nd when police received a 911 call reporting that the siblings had wandered off from their home in Lansdowne Station, a rural area about 140 kilometers northeast of Halifax. Police announced last week that after 6 days of scouring the heavily wooded areas surrounding the home, there have been no signs of the children and called off the search. If we thought they were alive right now, we'd still be out there, RCMP Staff Sergeant Curtis McKinnon said at the news conference on May 7th. In a news release today, the RCMP said that they are following up on more than 180 tips from members of the public and exploring all avenues of the missing investigation. Now, I have a question for locals. If there's anyone that lives close to there, it's not a busy road, right? That's not really a busy road, is it? That goes by their house, right? how far would they have to go if they made a left or a right? They got to make a left or a right from their driveway, right? During the night, are you likely to pass a car at any time, right? Does people ride their four-wheelers all hours of the night, on these roads? Because I think that if they did something to them in a place like that, it might take someone's eyes actually being on them. More likely to see a logging truck. Why didn't brother help search? That's a good question, Janet, that you say that, right? Um, so let's say, right, because Daniel says he goes up to chest deep, right? Was his brother helping search, or did he just sit in the RV when they first realized that there were missing? Did they say their brother isn't helping search? I don't know. That's the question I'm asking. They both have guilty knowledge fact. All these kids missing Anna here. Hello, my dear. Good to see you, Anna. It's going to be in the 80s here this week. I mowed a little today. I got a pretty good little. Oh, good. More likely to see a logging truck element. That is funny, also. I mean, that's what probably the main industry is logging, right? If Lily was in distress and lost, I think she would scream her little. Yeah. Uh, how have Daniel's mother and brother do an interview? Grandma, yeah, or not grandma. One of the grandmas did. I don't know if it's like the step grandma did an interview. One of them did, but it was just over a phone, and it was in print. And she just said a few words. Thank you, always on empty. Does anyone have pics of the inside? There's no pictures of the inside. There's one during Christmas, and it's got a Christmas tree, and there's carpet in the home, and there's a big that was the mom's mother. Thank you, Trash Panda. There's just a big piece of hole in the carpet, but that's it. That's it. So I would like to see like the inside of the home, right? I think that would give a lot of information of kind of what if it's anything like the outside, I think that's going to say a lot. She reminds me of Candace when she told Cher she never wanted kids in the first place, and now she has none. This seems the same. And in one day, lost 3 kids, 1 to CPS and 2. Yes. I know. I know. I know. All right. Where was I? So they've received the Mounties said 35 people have been identified uh, for formal interviews as part of the investigation, including community members and those closest to the children. So the last time the kids were seen, yes, Linda, they may have. Most likely they would have. Most likely they would have, because they're sensitive. Their little systems are so sensitive. Yes, Carrie, that's true. Yep, that did happen. If someone doesn't want to have kids, they usually don't. She had 3. I don't know, but let me turn this fan off 1 second. Okay. I don't know, man. We have officers from multiple disciplines dedicated to finding Lily and Jack, including highly trained RCMP, major crime, and forensic investigations, McKinnon said in the news release. I would like to know, did they go places every day? Like when you live out in a place like that, do you generally go somewhere every day? Or do you just kind of go somewhere like once a week, twice a week? I think that would be interesting because I think where any place that they went during that week, particularly late at night, is going to be crucial. Last time they were seen was 2 days prior because one had a bad cough, supposedly. Yes. Yes. Oh, Angel Mama, thank you so. Where you been, girl? You doing okay? How you doing? How's your kids? Thank you so much. We really do appreciate you. In my opinion, we should be allowed next to visit Edgar. Oh, gotcha. You're talking about Sebastian Rogers' case. Uh, I agree. Yep, I agree. Yeah, it's makes you wonder, doesn't it, Angel Mama? Thank you so much, Angel Mama. Do appreciate you. Tabitha, hello. Welcome to the Pearl family. Good to see you, Miss Tabitha. Now, welcome Miss Tabitha Roadhouse as our newest Pearl member. Thank you so much, Tabitha. May I say pearls look amazing on you. Good to see you. Hey, Neuro. Usually, if rule to visit others is common, as can't do what city people do, things are miles away. Yeah, I mean, I grew up in a very, very rural area. And as a kid, I had to take 3 bus transfers to get to school. That would be illegal now, probably. But I had to take 3 bus transfers. And it was way out. And so, like, we didn't go, you know, every day. I don't think, but they didn't work either. They don't really work. So, did the children take meds to help them sleep if they had autism? They weren't diagnosed. They weren't formally diagnosed with autism. Once a week and to go run errands. Yeah. We don't get much company too far to up. Nobody really visits each other anymore. You know what I mean? But, if there is a DRUG situation, then they're probably keeping the roads hot. I was not raised in the country. The wonderful man I'm about to marry. Oh, nice, Sheila. Is back. Yes, he is. He is, in my opinion. He is, yes. He's been back, I think. I'm pretty sure. All right. Daniel Martell, the stepfather of the children, has said he believes Lily and Jack slipped out their sliding back door while he and the children's mother were in the bedroom and with their 1-year-old daughter. In the days after the disappearance, Martell remained at the home, receiving daily updates from search and rescue officials and speaking to reporters who descended on the area. He has repeatedly said he believes the children were abducted, but RCMP have said there is no evidence of that. The children's mother, Malaya Brooks Murray, left the area after the disappearance with the 1-year-old to be with her family in another part of the province. Here it says she left with the baby. to be with her family, but I've heard she's not with her family now. The children's grandmother, Cindy Murray, has told the Canadian press that the police have advised the family against speaking to the public. And that is today, by the way. All the new articles are saying very similar things from what. Oh, look at this. This was what I was going to show y'all earlier. This is Daniel when he was. This is Daniel in 2010. I mean, he's young. There's alcohol and there's mixed drinks and stuff. A wood stove. So he still had a wood stove in 2010. Wherever he was there. Damn, I think in Canada you got to have a wood stove if you're up that cold area. I don't think these kids went missing that morning. Could be wrong, but both kids missing 2 days of school before called to Ellie is sus to me. Yes, and that's the thing. We don't know, if they went missing Tuesday night, right? Wednesday morning, Wednesday during the day, Wednesday night, Thursday morning, Thursday during the day, Thursday night, Friday, early hours of the morning. Have no idea. Yeah, there's alcohol in the background. It's like vodka bottles. Widow, I was thinking about you. How you doing, honey? You sleep on the road? When I went to school, I had to walk across the swinging bridge. Then I forgot about swinging bridges. Oh my God, that brings back so many memories. Then cross a railroad track and through a train sitting on the tracks just to get on the bus. Yes. You were like, I walked to school uphill both ways. That's crazy. That's crazy. I can't imagine. I see Pepsi bottles and hard stuff. Thank you, my dear. Good to see you, and thank you for 4 months. I'm glad hope you're okay, honey. Yeah, there's some. That's definitely vodka or whiskey of some sort. And right there, and right there. So, they might have both just kind of been a little how should we say it? They might have both just kind of been little partiers their whole lives. Children sleep very soundly, especially at that age. Someone could pick them up and carry them out, and they would never wake up. I think that someone took the kids in the middle of the night. You think so, the path? I don't. I don't see it. I just don't see it. I don't see how it is such a rarity. Does it happen? Has it happened? Of course. But it is very, very extraordinarily rare for an individual to come in your home, take you, abduct you, especially if there's others in the home, right? Because you're literally feet away from them. And that's really putting yourself in for the perpetrator, a very dangerous situation. Yes, I'm out here driving, Justin. I took a mental break, but I love you, darling. Good to see you, widow. I see it being an accident, Mom is. Yeah, I do too. But when? When was the accident? I had one child that would sleep through a bomb going off, and one would wake up if you dropped a sock. Yeah, It's amazing. Yeah, they're all different. Roxy, thank you so much, my love. Good to see you. Appreciate you. Thank you so much, my friend. Really do appreciate you. Good to see you, sweet Roxy. Um, yeah, well, you just I don't, if these, let's say for instance, and I mean, again, it doesn't even necessarily have to be, I told you guys about I watched this nurse here on YouTube, and she was talking about a child came in, and he was on his way out, like he had a very faint pulse, and his oxygen was almost gone and all that, and they ran tests really quickly, and they kept trying to give him medicine and stuff to get his heartbeat going up, and it just wasn't working like they wanted it to, and they got the labs back really quickly. He was drunk. The baby was drunk, and they gave him something to, guess, hopefully, like, counteract the alcohol or something, whatever they did, and they had a party. The parents had a party the night before, and one of them put vodka in a water bottle. To say an accident is weird for 2 children. I mean, I understand your point on that. Um, to say this is the thing, it depends, like, again, this is speculation, but if there is DRUG use, right? It depends on what kind of DRUG they are using, and a little bit can do a lot of damage. A lot of damage, right? Or if they nod it out, fall asleep when they do whatever they're doing, and the kids are out running around. In my opinion, the sliding door should be rusted and heavy. It does not look renovated. So the two little ones at that age couldn't have done that, in my opinion. It is, Kimberly. It is. What about the grandmother and the uncle that lived on the property? What do they know about them? Well, she said in her interview, uh, mom did. She said, um, well, did she say that? She said allegedly the step grandma heard the kids outside or something. But mom also said that, she kind of slipped up in my oh, I forgot to play this. She also kind of slipped up, in my opinion, and said that when the kids go outside, they forget to close the door. And she's always getting on them. Well, then that doesn't, she said they're watched every time they go outside. But that's not true if they don't close the door from behind them, right? I knew I was missing something. Hold on here. Give him a 2-second, y'all. We've got a new video from the one and only Big DD. Yes, Deception Detective, the Deception Daddy. He's gonna tell us all about it. Here we go.
questions still around both this investigation and this mystery around what happened to these two young children. The RCMP announcing they've scaled back their search. They said they're going to be circling back on areas that have been looked at before. So what does that tell you, this move signal at this stage of the investigation?
Well, yeah, thanks for having me, Anne-Marie. There's a couple of things at play here. Either the police know more than we do, which is quite likely.
That's ex-police commissioner Chris Lewis weighing in on the disappearance of Nova Scotian preschoolers Lilly and Jack Sullivan, and I love his take. So in today's video, let's watch his interview with CTV, and I'll show you why. I'm Deception Detective, an attorney trained in statement analysis. This channel exposes lies and manipulation, so if that's your thing, hit subscribe. For exclusives, early access, and other cool perks, consider becoming a channel member. Link in description. If you're not familiar with this case or just not up to speed because it is developing day by day, here's a quick recap.
More than a week later, and there's still no sign of 6-year-old Lilly and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan, the two missing children who are believed to have wandered into the woods near their Pictou County home. While RCMP say the search has been scaled back, the investigation efforts are still underway. No new updates have been released. As the community continues to wait, people are feeling sad, worried, and they have multiple questions. The municipality's warden says many are struggling with that unknown.
There's a concern about what happened, and there's also within the younger community and their parents, we don't know what happened. There's a lot of apprehension about, do you let your little ones out of sight? Do you let them just play as they normally do and they'll be around somewhere?
The warden also urged the public to avoid spreading speculation on site and to be patient as the RCMP continues its work.
So that's the rundown. And as you heard in that clip and the intro clip I played, everyone still has questions about this case. And part of the reason for that is that the Canadian police force is very methodical, but they're also very tight-lipped. And I appreciate that strategy. So there's just one last thing I want to show you before we grab our deception decks and start analyzing Chris's interview with CTV. And that's a clip from my last video in this series with my biggest question about this case at this point. Because as far as the comments on that video go, lots of conflicting information. And I even got conflicting information from Nova Scotia's official website. Anyway, here's the clip.
She has no phone reception, but she does have photo of the two kids. The 6-year-old is the girl, I believe, and she's wearing pink. The 4-year-old is wearing some blue dinosaur boots. The drone operator is still on scene with the mom. So
this is a Canadian case, so it might be a while before we get that 911 call audio, if ever. But based on the clues that we have here, we can deduce that the mother did not have enough reception at the house to send the police photos of her kids, which makes me wonder if she had enough reception to call 911 from the house.
So funny.
Or did she have to drive somewhere else to do that too? If you've been here for a while, you'll know that it's never a good sign when the parent of a missing child takes a long drive right after calling 911 or before calling 911. Meanwhile, this case happened in rural Nova Scotia. So my big question is, if Malaya didn't have enough reception to send photos of her kids to the police, did she at least have enough reception to call 911? Or did she have a landline? And if not, how far away did she have to go to get that reception? Does she just have to walk down the driveway? Or does she have to drive a couple miles? And if it's the latter, and she has to drive a couple miles to get reception, is there any way to track that drive? Do we know she only drove to where she got reception? Or could she have gone way farther in order to hide the children? Anyway, that's my biggest question about this case, among many at this point, because I never like seeing the parents of a missing child take long drives before or after calling 911. It happened with William Turrell in Australia, where his foster father ostensibly drove to town in order to get enough signal to call emergency services. It also happened with Madeline Soto, Chris Watts, Sebastian Rogers, the list goes on. All right, without further ado, let's listen.
The staff sergeant in charge of the investigative side of this said he...
Look at that little picture of him eating that. He's so cute.
Staff sergeant in charge of the investigative side of this said he just things he couldn't say. At the same time, it's very, very intense and very thick area that they're searching. Very difficult to traverse, even for trained adults, let alone children. So they've obviously made the decision that they don't believe the kids have got further than their perimeter, the area they've already searched. So they want to go back and research it. And he also specifically said there's areas that they want to revisit. Mm-hmm. So why is that? It's disturbing to me that they think the children may not be alive. But RCMP are really good at this, big searches and investigations. And so they know something we don't. And we have to trust them that hopefully these kids will be found alive. And
I wonder what kind of intelligence they're going to use, because their cars aren't that new, right? Their cars aren't that new. And if they didn't take a cell phone, I think it's going to be a hard case for them to crack, unless one of them cracks, which I think mom might, or someone's got to know something. Someone's seen someone in an area.
And if possible, they will do so.
Is it possible one of the areas they're going to go back and research is the children's home and the property surrounding?
It could well be. Specific areas in that.
Thought they had Starlink, Justin. Maybe, but I know that on the dispatch, they said, "Mom, can you send pictures?" And she said her cell phone wouldn't send it.
That turf, that maybe there's water, culverts and things like that. I don't know. I'm only guessing here. But they're pretty careful to how they worded it all, and which makes me think, once again, from an investigative perspective, they know something we don't, which is almost always the case. But the investigation always happen in parallel. Mm-hmm. But in this case, it appears that it seems to be narrowing down to a point that we're going to know something soon, and fingers crossed, it's good news, but they're not holding out a whole pile of hope at this point, unfortunately.
If you're not aware, I analyzed enough.
He thinks we're going to know something soon. Put a 1 in the chat if you think we're going to know something soon. Put a 2 in the chat if you do not think we're going to know something soon. It's common here to have enough cell signal to make a call but not to send. Yeah. It's pretty mixed. It's pretty mixed. 1 2 2 1 1 1. I have no idea. 1 2 2 2 1 2 1. Stuff is slow in Canada too, Justin. Very slow. Well, you think it's slow in Canada? My God, in America, we have so much red tape. We have red tape for the red tape's red tape. It's ridiculous here. There is so much bureaucracy here now. So much red tape for everything. You can't get nothing done. Yes, Margaret, yes, it is. It's insane. It's insane. We have same Justin. Just got home from the hospital. My husband has been, oh my gosh, he has bilateral pneumonia. Of course, Nana's dragonfly. Praying for him, honey. Stuff's no joke. The area is vast for sure. At least they do. Yes, absolutely, Hatters. They're still looking for Madeleine McCain. And the thing is, they were, and they mentioned this as well. The kids are smaller than their average classmates. And remember, in Summer Wells' case, they said if she curled up, she could be the size of a laptop. So you're looking, it's very small. Oh, goodness, Hatters.
Another Chris Lewis interview a few days ago, and the reason I like his take much is because this is the first Canadian true crime case I've analyzed on YouTube. So it's nice to have someone who's familiar with their procedures and who can read between the lines, because he confirmed lots of what we said over here on the channel. For instance, as he said there, the fact that the police are winding down the search is bittersweet. It's bitter because it means that the children probably are deceased, and the police have good reason to suspect that. But the sweetness, if it's any consolation at all compared to the tragedy of losing 2 children, is that the police probably have a good idea of who the culprits are, which is how they were able to make that deduction after the kids had only been out in the woods for a couple days. Usually, search lasts way longer than that, no matter the conditions. All right, let's keep watching.
It's interesting that your experience and instinct tell you that they're narrowing in on something soon. One thing,
Shirley, make sure it reads, it's got to have, you don't have to have service. Now, service, right, is the monthly service you pay for. If you have an inactive service, and as long as there's towers close to you, doesn't matter what company it is, it will ping off those towers. But there has to be a tower close to you to call 911. On the poll, Justin asked if you think, okay, we will hear something soon about Jack, and 2 if not. Oh, like said, I'm all about the dark hair.
something else that stood out was that major crimes is still part of this investigation. They were at that press conference on Wednesday. What does that say that this is a search and rescue / search recovery, but also that major crimes is involved?
Well, major crimes would always be involved with missing children because either they're lost, which is certainly what they've been hoping to be the case, and then find them alive, or they've met with foul play in some way. And there's a couple of different avenues that could go, either a stranger abduction or someone that is known to them. And so major crime would always be following that up until they really have proof one way or another as to what's happened to these kids. So that's not uncommon at all.
Stranger abduction, familial abduction, those are both possibilities, but a far more likely possibility is simple neglect. The parents were either high or stoned, the kids wandered off, and now the parents are lying about what happened because they know how neglectful they were. It's also possible that the parents' neglect led to the kids dying. The parents discovered the dead bodies and hid them because they knew that they would be punished for it. That's actually what I think happened in 2 of my most popular series, the Madeline McCann series and my John Bonet series. In other words, the parents didn't deliberately kill the children. They're still genuinely sad about the death, but they covered up the death in order to spare their other family members from consequences, whether it's punishment or, if they're vain enough, shame.
Police said that the likelihood of the children being alive was very low. That stood out to me, and you mentioned it as well. When one officer was asked at how they arrived at that conclusion, he only offered scientific methods. What does that mean?
Well, based on probabilities, previous searches, a lot of data that's been gathered over the years, and just experience of these searchers and the search masters, they made a determination that they don't think these kids could have got out of where they are. So that being the case, and have the fact they've been all through there, and some weather issues, although the weather's not all that bad, they've determined there's no way that they could be alive in their view, which is very sad. But at the same time, I've seen searches where adults have been missing for weeks in similar weather and found alive. So you can never say never. And the fact that they're leaning that way causes me even more concern.
One last question for you. The parents say they believe the children were abducted. Police say they don't have any evidence to suggest that. So then what options are left?
Well, why are the parents saying that? It would be the first question from the investigators. What makes you believe that? Because if they are, then the police want to know that. The stepfather said very clearly he's been offered he offered to have polygraphs, and he's given them everything. So there's quite an investigation going on around the family. I'm not suggesting there's anything untoward there, but please.
I'm getting ready to show you cell towers.
Are obviously following that part of it very closely.
If you've been here for a while, you probably figured out my biggest reason for liking Chris Lewis's take about this case, and that's because he thinks it's a giant red flag when the parent of a missing child pushes a stranger kidnapping theory when there's no evidence of a kidnapping. In my first video in this series, I hope I'm wrong, I analyzed Lilly and Jack's mom, and that's what immediately stood out to me. So click the playlist on the end card if you want to watch that analysis, as well as my analysis of the quote-unquote stepfather's offer to do a polygraph. If you want more like this, let me know by liking, commenting, and sharing. Until next time, stay true.
All right. Thank you to our friend and yours, Gigi, our deception detective. Absolutely. All right. I'm going to show you the cell phone towers. Okay. This is Nova Scotia. We are... I tried to enter the address, but it's not... Hold on, let's do it like this. I wonder if it'll do it like this. Just without the... Could not locate... What's the... Let me try this. 407. Here, maybe... Here we go. I think this is the address. 1407 Garelock. Here we go. Could not locate. They are... It's somewhere around here, isn't it? Let's try just Garelock. I wonder if it'll do it like this. Road. Still won't search it. Let me see where it is on this map. Okay, so it's close to New Garelock Road, New Larg. 2 seconds, y'all. There's Pictou. So it's right down through here somewhere. And so it's somewhere in this area. And there's no cell phone. There's no cell. Like, there's none. So there's somewhere in this vicinity. And there's nothing. Are they on Highway 104? I'm looking. Looking for new. Here it is. Okay, here's New Lark. Here's New Lark. All right. There's like literally one tower. Literally one tower. One freaking tower. That's it. I know because a tower guy told me. There's towers, but not sure how they need them. Well, this, let me make this clear. This is Bell, Rogers, and Telus. Bell, Rogers, and Telus. Let's see if there's any others. Eastlink, Xtel, or Ecotel. There we go. Freedom Mobile, ICE. Yeah, that's it. That's really crappy. Not a lot. That explains it. Yeah. New screenshot and save. Yeah, in TELUS, I think when I go to Canada, it always says TELUS or Rogers. Sometimes it's TELUS, sometimes it's Rogers. So there's a cell is that area is Rogers, Bellum, TELUS. Yeah. But sometimes they share, you know what I mean? I think I have international plan because I can use my phone in Canada and the UK. Yeah, it would be worse due to trees and the terrain. Yeah, there's like nothing. But oh, you're fine, Sheila, darling. Love you, honey. From someone who does home repair for a living, you will never make me believe the door was silent. It's a trailer and the walls are shifted 9 out of 10 times, making loud squeaky door. And Miss H&H 2014, this is like it looks like a 1960 or 1970s trailer, and you know how the 60s and 70s trailers were made, right? Like the walls are paper thin, very paper thin. Bogs. I know, and that door isn't even that clean. When I stay in the boonies. Negative. Negative. If I'm on the east side of Canada, I stay in Toronto. If I'm on the west side of Canada, I stay in Vancouver. I'm rarely in the middle. You hear everything in those old trailers. Oh, I mean, the walls are paper thin. You know what I mean? I have Metro, PCS, T-Mobile, or sometimes T-Mobile doesn't work. But next time I'm visiting Canadian Cookie. Next time I'm spending the night with her. Justin, I sent you an email. I live in the province next to them, just across the ocean. We had snow last night. It's so cold here. Oh my God, Lisa. That's crazy. Are we dealing with... Oh, I just got a really informative email. Thank you, whoever sent that to me. Thank you, Mary, for sending that to me. I'll read that here in a second. Hi, Justin. I'm a behavior statement analysis in the UK. I did a complete analysis of parents' behavior. RCMP called me back lunchtime today, thanked me for a great analysis, and they now have their own behavioral experts on this. I dare not to say more than that, mate. Oh, good. Do you have a channel? The person that just Uber, do you have a channel? I'm would love to see that. Did I miss it? Okay. I don't know what that is. Gosh, y'all have sent me a lot of emails during this live. This case deserves attention. Michaela Bally. I'll look at that as well. He said waist deep. I know. Waist deep. The thing that bothers me with that, right, going waist deep. Why would you go waist deep? Why would you go waist deep when it's only been 20 minutes and you don't, unless you see them or have a reason to believe that they are in that water, why would you go waist deep? I used to live in Vancouver Island, moved back into that. Vancouver's one of my favorite cities. It's being said that the mom is on an Indian territory with her family. So, Celeste, I know that allegedly yesterday she was on a different reservation where her family was allegedly not on. Who's that? Canadian, you live that way up. What did Canadian say? Trying to see what she said. My daughter just got home today from Toronto. Toronto's an amazing city. It's very clean. So that's a no to camping. No, Webbs of this. Listen, Webbs, listen. I grew up poor. I don't want to go spend a bunch of money to live uncomfortably and poor again. I just don't want to do it. I don't understand why we go camping for our backs to hurt and for mosquitoes to eat us up, and you spend $500 to live like you're broke. I don't get it. I mean, that was a usual day in my life growing. Don't want that shit. I think she's protected on Indian land. My idea of camping is a hotel without room service. That's my idea of camping. Okay? That's my idea of camping. I don't want any of it. I bet Edgar is saying, CKK, I told you they'd be another Michigan and they'll move on and leave us alone. Babs, you know what I've got to say about that? He's wrong. He's wrong. You know what else I have to say about that? FBI, open up! Mother chicken. Nobody wants a Daniel, trust me. Exactly, C-Star. Exactly. Okay, this came out today. Maybe yesterday. Today or yesterday.
A week later, and there's still no sign of 6-year-old Lilly and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan, the two missing children who were believed to have wandered into the woods near their Pictou County home. While RCMP say the search has been scaled back, the investigation efforts are still underway. No new updates have been released. As the community continues to wait, people are feeling sad, worried, and they have multiple questions. The municipality.
So it looks like the leaves are not out there yet. Right? I could see you in a river, Justin. I mean, yeah.
Municipality's warden says many are struggling with that unknown.
There's a concern about what happened, and there's also within the younger community and their parents, we don't know what happened. There's a lot of apprehension about, do you let your little ones out of sight? Do you let them just play as they normally do and they'll be around somewhere?
The warden also urged the public to avoid spreading speculation on site and to be patient as...
Now, there's a lot of bears there, isn't there? There's a lot of bears there, I'm pretty sure.
RCMP continues its work. He says the community is proud of the effort by search and rescue teams and are hoping for a positive outcome.
Okay. When was this? Oh, that was 5 days ago. That was 5 days ago, so that was a long time ago. It's still quite early, yet I hope to hear more details next week or sooner, of course. I thought this chat was... It is It is, Darren. It sure is. It sure is. We talk about a lot of things. Okay. This is a Q&A, which is very interesting right here. When a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old child go missing in a rural wooded area, what are the first thing that searchers need to consider? And this is the experts. Well, the first thing is that they begin of a good, solid investigation, the age, the scenario, and where they were last seen when they went missing, the timelines, what caused them to go missing. Usually there's not one possible scenario, but multiple possible scenarios that could be considered. And by scenario, I mean they could have gotten lost, they could have gotten hurt, they could have gotten sick, although 2 children at the same time getting sick would be much less likely. They could be especially with children, they crawl into small, tight spaces if they were obstructed from view, so they could be very difficult to find. Again, I said laptop. Remember, laptop size. Laptop size. What does your app and your research tell searchers to pay attention to when it's kids? What's different when you're looking for kids? Probably the answer is probably that's a hallmark with kids is even if you're shouting their name, they may not shout back because maybe they've been told not to speak to strangers, or maybe they're just afraid of you, or they may have an active imagination and they've turned you into a Bigfoot or something. They may think they're in trouble, so they may actively hide from searchers. And certainly, we point out the fact that kids will crawl into thick underbrush. It may look in impenetrable to you as an adult standing up 5 feet. But if you're down at between 1 and 3 feet, you may see a way to scramble underneath the brush and crawl into that. And the thick brush may provide a certain amount of shelter to a child. So all those places need to be searched, and that's very difficult, time consuming. What does your app help? How does your app help the searchers? Well, it gives us some of those distances of how far out they should be looking. It gives you a percentage chance that they'll go uphill or downhill. They'll give you kind of a checklist of where you should be searching first, where you should be putting your priorities. That's very neat, isn't it? That is very, very neat. Uh, the the app will show if they're likely to go uphill here, if they're likely to go downhill, where they should, look at first. It will give you an actual field searchers a tactical briefing. It's like this is what you should be looking for. Thick brush and briars are important. Hiding places are important. The subject may not answer back to you, so don't rely on that. Those kinds of details would be in a field briefing that's in the app. What is this? He's told CBC News that he can't speculate on the Lansdowne station search, but can provide general comments based on data. Hold on, I need to refresh this. Okay. His name is Robert Coaster. Created the Lost Persons app used by searchers in Lansdowne Station. After 6 days of search for the 2 missing wrapped up this week, Pictou County, an expert on lost people in shedding light on the difficulty of finding children in the woods. Lilly 6, Jack 4 has been missing since May 2nd when they called 911. Robert Coaster, a search mission coordinator with the Virginia Department of Energy Management in the United States, wrote the book Lost Person Behavior, a search and rescue guide on where to look for land, air, and water. He also created the app called Lost Person Behavior, which was used by searchers in Lansdowne Station. How often do they never find the subject alive or find a body? Well, one second. Okay. Well, never finding a subject, which we would call in a search suspension, that occurs about 5% of the time in the database. How often do they never find the subject alive or find a body? Well, never finding the subject, which we would call it a search suspension, that occurs about 5% of the time in the database. Let that sink in for a second. Let that sink in for 1 second. Only 5% of the time, if they are out there, they find them. Well, not even if they're out there. They're usually out there, right? They almost always find them if they're out there. That's incredible. They should have found them. Guys, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up, read it again. How often do they never find the subject alive or find the body? Well, never finding the subject, which we would call it a search suspension, meaning if they don't find it, they call it a search suspension. That occurs about 5% of the time in the database. You mentioned tracking dogs. How often is it that they don't catch any scent? Let's see here. Where is that answer? Because this isn't the right. I don't think it is. I think this might be different pages. Hold on. Was this it? You occasionally get some of those miraculous finds now that the chart doesn't take into consideration its temperature and weather. Hold on. I want to find that scent specific part. They have collected on a database of 500,000 search and rescue incidents from around the world and compiled them in the database, which they use to create statistics. That's very interesting. You occasionally get some of the miraculous finds. Now, what my chart does take into consideration is temperature and weather. And obviously, temperature and weather is going to have a huge influence on actual survivability. I imagine they didn't call it off. So, this search, they called it off, the search and rescue portion, after 6 days. When do searchers normally call off the portion of the operation? I imagine they didn't call it off, but they suspended the search. And if there's new information, they will certainly be out there searching again. Turns out the average time of a suspended search is just 1 day. Wow. Now, that's an average. Some searchers will go 2 days, some will go a week. Everything is obviously a little bit different depending on the circumstances. But if they went a week, that's certainly searched a lot longer than average. So the average search is a day. You got it? Did you send it to me? Ooh, what's this? Ooh, what's that? Martell has said he was in the bedroom with his partner and their baby when they last saw Lily and Jack on the morning of May 2nd. He recalled that Lily was wearing a pink top when she had poked her head in the door of the bedroom prior to departing. Minutes later, he heard the sliding door that leads onto the backyard open and close. Uh-uh. Uh-uh. No. No. That's bad. That's really bad. Yeah, could someone say what's the source on this? It says Daniel, Mr. Martell. Martell said that he was in the bedroom with his partner and their baby was the last and sorry. Martell said he was in the bedroom with his partner and their baby when he last saw Lily and Jack on the morning of May 2nd. He recalled that Lily was wearing a pink top when she had poked her head in the door of the bedroom. Well, when did he see Jack? Because he doesn't mention nothing about Jack there. Prior to departing, minutes later, he heard the sliding door that leads into the backyard open and close. Martell has estimated within, quote, a few minutes, end quote, he set out to find the children, driving his vehicle on back roads and looking in culverts for them without success. Oh my God. You sent the article link before that? Hold on. Oh, I had that one earlier. I just haven't read it yet. Let's find here. He says, quote, I've been 100% cooperating. I gave them my phone. I offered the drug test. I offered them lie detector test. I offered them everything, he said in an interview. Martell has said he was in the bedroom and his partner and the baby was last seen when he last seen Lily and Jack on the morning of May 2nd. He recalled that Lily was wearing a pink top when she had poked her head in the door of their bedroom prior to departing. Minutes later, he heard the sliding door that leads onto the backyard open and close. Martell has estimated within, quote, a few minutes, end quote, he set out to find the children, driving the vehicle on back roads and looking in culverts for them without success. Oh, guys. Oh, guys. Oh, guys. This was the report on the Canadian press was first published May 13, 2025, today. She said it was completely quiet, the door. And he doesn't mention anything about Jack. Yes. I bet he would say media got it wrong. Well, this is the thing. Usually media, whether it's print or not, they either have it voice recorded or video recorded so they can go back and get the actual quotes from them. It's not, Sarah. I don't know how. I think accident with Lilly and then escalated also. He said children one time and caught himself. Kiki says, I think they both know, in my opinion. I had a bad feeling from day one on this case. A lot of people did. But that's bad. That's really bad. Look at it right there. Right here. City news everywhere. In an earlier interview on May 5th, he said he and the children's mother, Malia Brooks Murray, had been together for more than 2 years and moved into the trailer in the community about 2 years ago. He had said he and Brooks Murray had a 16-month-old infant named Meadow. Brooks Murray left the home the day after the search began, ending communication with Martell, and has been staying with her mother in Wentworth, New Hampshire. RCMP said that on May 2nd, at approximately 10 a.m., they received a report that the children were missing at the time. Said they believed the siblings had wandered away from their home on Gairloch Road. The ground search, involving up to 160 trained volunteers, was scaled back on May 7th after covering a 5.5 square kilometers. That's bad. In a follow-up statement, the RCMP confirmed that family members were among those being interviewed for the investigation, adding that questioning relatives was standard practice for a missing person investigation. That's bad, y'all. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Daniel also said he will probably be looking for the rest of his life, probably. So, I do too, 1-800. I don't know when, but for you to say that you heard the door, that still doesn't make sense, though. I still don't believe him. I still don't think they're telling the truth. Because, listen, if you heard the door at 7:40 in the morning, you have a 4 and a 6-year-old, aren't you going to get up immediately? Yes, Kelsey. I'm going to read that again. It says right here. Daniel Martell has said, this is an interview that came out today. Martel has said he was in the bedroom with his partner and their baby when he last saw Lily and Jack on the morning of May 2nd. He recalled that Lily was wearing a pink top and she had poked her head in the door of their bedroom prior to departing. Okay. Saw. Yes, but you didn't see Jack. Right? You didn't say you said you seen Jack, but when did you see him if he didn't poke his head in? Prior to departing, minutes later, he heard the sliding door that leads onto the backyard open and close. Martel has estimated within, quote, a few minutes, end quote, he set out to find the children, driving his vehicle on back roads and looking in culverts for them without success. 11 days later, he claims he heard the sliding door. Daniel, why 11 days later? Well, isn't it interesting how it always seems like day 10, 11, or 13, 12, 13, there's always a story change? Yes, Hatters. Exactly. Did the kids take the bus together? I thought he was the youngest for school. Yes, they rode the bus together. If I heard a bus opening to my home, I'd be checking it out, of course. Yes. Cannot keep their story straight. Went off script just like Grandis did. Yeah. That's bad. That's really bad. It's duplicated on Yahoo News as well. Yeah, this came out today. Today. The story gets recrafted based on all the holes in the identified. It's called adapting. They are adapting. I don't believe this until the police release this and say it. Why didn't they say this today? Well, they're not going to say, they're not going to say, well, Daniel said he heard it today. They're past that. They're asking him privately. I believe he's protecting her for or what they done. Perhaps 1-800, perhaps. He might be covering for mom and is getting confused. Well, I think certainly something's off. Yes, departure is a strange word. And he didn't see Jack. He didn't see Jack. What did Ma say? He might be covering for mom and is getting confused. He seems emotional and conflicted from deep down inside. What a tangled web they weaved. Yeah, exactly. All right, y'all. I'll be back here in a little bit. It is 9:00. I'll be back probably about 10:30 or so Eastern time. If you join me then, that would be great. If not, have a good night. Thank you all so much for joining me. I really, really do appreciate you. You guys are absolutely chef's kiss amazing. Hey, Vic, good to see you. All right, guys. I love you all and appreciate you. I'll see you guys here in a little bit. Much love, everyone. Bye bye.